Hey there, this is Mike. Welcome to Feeling Twisty. I'm really glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying my latest episodes, those with guests. There'll be more from time to time, and I'd love to share your story on here. Send them to me at mystory@feelingtwisty.com. My website, feelingtwisty.com, will be up soon, and you'll be able to read those stories there. Some I'll share here, and others will be guests on Feeling Twisty. I'm not necessarily looking for manifesting coaches or anyone in the manifesting industry. We all have beautiful stories to share, and I know yours will bless others. So reach out, send it to me at mystory@feelingtwisty.com or message me on social media. Speaking of stories, I want to share a couple with you today. The first is from a friend of mine who called me after what he described as an awful day last Friday. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong for him. It started with a confusing phone call or confusion over a phone call, and the client on the other end got upset and threatened to give my friend a bad review. And on top of that, he felt like he was being chastised by his boss to the point of possibly being fired this week. Now, from what he told me, from my point of view and my experiences in the workplace, none of it came close to actions that would mean being fired. But I know my friend, and he used to, not anymore, but used to have a habit of obsessing or worrying over something nonstop, thus creating the problems he was worrying about. I told him that what happened doesn't mean anything, and the only one who can decide if it means something is you, only you. He asked me what to imagine to fix things. What do I do, Mike? Tell me what to do. I reminded him, I don't do that. You decide. I offered suggestions, revise the whole day, and go back to that phone call that started it all and relive it in your imagination and decide that's the way it went. Or, and this is my choice, just decide that it really isn't a big deal and let it go. He mentioned that maybe he needs to change, be less him, less passionate, less noticeable. He was talking about being less than who he is, and I stopped him right there. Don't beat yourself up. Let that go. I reminded my friend that he is the life-giving spirit here. He can choose that Friday's events mean the worst, or decide that it isn't anything at all. I told him, you have a fiery, passionate personality. Be proud of it. You walk in your office Monday morning with your head held high and be proud of who you are. This morning I received a text from him with a screenshot of a conversation with his boss. He told my friend, be you and do not change, but try to put less pressure on yourself and enjoy the moment. My friend told me, Mike, he said the same things you tell me. And he thanked me. And I told him, it's not me, it's you. You did this. You're doing this. I want him to recognize that it is never me, never is the other. It's him. It's amazing to hear the stories from my friend and watch the layers being peeled back. Success after success. You see, he could have let the events of Friday fester all weekend to the point of having a very unpleasant day on Monday. But he didn't. He remained loud and proud of who he is, accepting nothing less than success. My next story comes from the other side of the world. This woman contacted me back in November to share with me what was going on. She was looking for the perfect piece of property for her and her family. And the first one they looked at was perfect. It even had an extra road dividing the land, space for other houses, for other family members. She says it was like a dream. They put an offer on the house, but then out of the blue, the owner suddenly pulled the property off the market over the homeowner's health issues. Now, when she messaged me, they had already looked at 10 different houses and none compared to that first house. She says at first she started trying to manifest a lottery win to take care of the housing issue and do a lot of other things. Heck yeah, make my list if I win the lottery. But then she thought that even a lottery win wouldn't necessarily guarantee the homeowners would put their house back on the market. She asked me, is it possible to manifest something that would require someone else's change of mind to make it happen? like the owners putting their property back up for sale. Could I make them decide that? Or is it just up to them or even fate? I keep asking if maybe the house was supposed to come off the market so we can find an even better one, but that's just not happening at the moment. I really don't know what to do. I told her, you change people's minds all the time. You just aren't aware of it. The whole universe is responding to you. If that's the house you want, then accept nothing less. Decide that it's yours and sleep in it tonight. Just as Neville Goddard says. No more analysis, no more trying to think of the right thoughts. Now that was November. It's now March 18th. A week ago, she sent me another message. She says, funnily enough, we got into contact with the owners and they said no to our offer. I still had hope that it would come back to us, even with a firm no, but we decided to carry on looking at other houses in the meantime. One night, I had a dream of this gorgeous property with huge trees, a little white house, and a creek running through the land. The next day, we rang an estate agent asking about a house. He took us to see it, and it was the house in my dream. It was small and white, had huge trees everywhere, and a river running through the whole property. That house is now ours. She goes on to say, the strange thing was, an hour after we signed the contract, we had a phone call from the estate agent concerning the previous house where our offer was declined. The agent said the owners changed their minds and the house was back on the market and they're open to selling it to us. This after we had just signed the contract for the new house we just found. She says the universe works in funny ways. We don't regret a thing. The new house was even more of a dream for us. Yeah. Neville Goddard says repeatedly that this is an imaginal universe. It is. She dreamed up this perfect property and found it immediately. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, she didn't get the first house. If she would have just waited. Nonsense. Don't overanalyze this. She dreamed up an even better place, the perfect place, and got it. Now, I did point out to her that it was her and her infinite power that dreamt up the perfect house, not the universe. It only responds automatically. I told her, you did this. Celebrate you. She followed the dream she had. That's beautiful. Everything is possible. Everything is already happening now. What you call your past, what you're imagining of your future, all happening now, and all of it dwells within you. Nothing from your past, like those reasons you can't have the house you want, or the love, or the money, or happiness. Those reasons only live within you. They're just ideas. And you can choose to give life to those ideas or cut the cord. Sever those stories of failure from your life-giving attention. The idea of money, wealth, has two sides, like a coin. Every desire does. One side is lacking it, I don't have it. The other side, oh yeah, I'm flush. Both sides are equally accessible. The idea of lack isn't any stronger than plenty. We just get so focused on the idea of lacking that we begin to think it's more powerful than us. And that's not true at all. Desire's fulfillment is equally real within you. And it doesn't require a special technique to have money or love or fill in the blank with that big desire. We believe money is something harder to manifest, so we start buying up manifesting programs about money or love, not realizing that we're the ones making it a big deal. You're the big deal. Nothing is bigger than you. All of these things we want, desires, fulfillments, two sides of the same coin. Money, I don't have it. Or I do. Love, I'm lonely and sad. Or cherished. Like my friend Alessandra discussed a couple of episodes back. Cherished. In love and being loved fully. Cherished. None of those require extra special training or programs. Why wait for the next seminar when you can accept that you already have what you want right now? Be gentle with yourself. So you're grouchy today, or you got irritated at someone in traffic or someone in your family. It doesn't mean you're not succeeding. I used to torture myself. I was so worried, so overly focused on every thought and every little movement of my emotions that, if I got mad at the people at the entrance to my neighborhood, if I got upset because they wouldn't let me in, don't block the intersection, then I would beat myself up. Oh, I shouldn't have reacted like that. I'm not going to get what I want. Oh, I had a negative feeling, a negative thought. I'm ruining all of this. Maybe that's just me. You have a wide range of emotions in this human experience. I'm done judging the emotions and torturing myself. Let yourself be you. Just because you read or heard someone say that you can't be grouchy or be irritated or angry if you want to manifest, doesn't mean they're right. I don't care how many books someone writes or how beautiful their website is or anything. Some teachers or coaches are just repeating what they heard someone else say. And so they repeat it in their programs, not allowing themselves to let go of what others say and rely completely on themselves and their own experiences. Now remember, I'm talking about myself as well. I think when we start diving into this exploration, we sometimes get the idea that we need to radically change who we are, start talking differently, making sure we say things in the right way when we post something in manifesting groups, tamping ourselves down, smashing down who we really are so we can appear more spiritual and enlightened. Come on, am I the only one that at some point wanted to comment or post something in a manifesting group and then was concerned about how I worded it so I don't get blowback from others in the group? You didn't say it's already here. It's already here. Get out of that state. I went through all that. Maybe you debate what a particular mystic teacher meant when they said this or that. A friend of mine will call me sometimes, hey, did you see that in this particular group? They're debating what Neville Goddard said, what he meant when this happened or when that happened. And I tell him, I don't care. There's nothing to debate. Lighten the load. It doesn't matter what anyone says or what they meant. It's what you say. You decide your story. Your you experience should be different. You don't need to refashion yourself to act like and sound like a particular manifesting teacher. Why would we want to be just like everyone else? Enjoy who you are. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Love who you are. Be who you are. Like my friend in the first story, be proud of who you are. If you're boisterous and passionate, be that. If you're introverted and prefer to be quiet and by yourself, be that. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world says. Be you. You can experience the life you want, and it takes no effort to decide what you want. To assume that it's already here, because it is already here. A friend of mine, I don't know if he gets frustrated with me. Mike, you always say it's already here. I don't know what that means. Every possible experience, every possible story is already happening right now. I had a really cool experience once. I was in a large cheese factory. I love cheese. I was walking from, are they called cheesemakers? I'll call them cheesemakers. From cheesemaker to cheesemaker, looking over their shoulder, seeing what they're doing and trying to tell them how to make the cheese. But what I was doing was getting in the way. Until a woman grabbed my arm and walked me to a beautiful shop in the front of the building. And on the shelves were so many varieties of cheese, all wrapped in these beautifully colored wrappers. She said, look, You don't have to do anything. Just tell me what you want, and I'll get it for you. Yeah, that's a great reminder for me, for a lifelong micromanager. You don't have to do anything. Just decide what you want and let it be here. That's it. Worrying about techniques or debating which manifesting teacher is better it's unnecessary. It's heavy. That's a lot of weight to carry. Trying to sound or act spiritual, unnecessary. That's heavy. Spirituality is heavy. I'm kind of done with that. This is a dream. And just like your dreams at night shift and conform to you, so does this world. As Neville Goddard said, nothing is true if you decide it isn't. And nothing is untrue if you decide it is true. But hey, don't take my word for it. I'm sharing with you my experiences. You be you. And love yourself as you do it. You know what? I love you. This is Feeling Twisty.